I'm gonna carve some tiny little crosses to add a couple other spooky little elements. Is this necessary? No. But it's day 19. Today's prompt is pointy. This one stumped me, and I gotta make something. You're probably wondering why I'm even admitting this in the first place, but I really do think this whole Junktober thing has been a really interesting experiment in like, how much is too much? How much detail is necessary versus unnecessary? And I'm still figuring that out. I'm not entirely sure. When the entire diorama is done, there is absolutely, including what I'm making today, gonna be a few things that I probably wouldn't have made or done if I hadn't done it in this format. I'm still sort of formulating my opinion on all of that. Like, what does that actually mean? Like, is there anything actionable from that for me as a creative? I don't know, but I'm hopeful by the final episode, I'll have some more concrete thoughts on that. Whether or not I actually think these props that I'm gonna make today are really worth it, it's absolutely worth it to at least explore this and to like kind of push myself further than I would normally and add more detail than I would normally and do things a little differently than I would because I just think that there's stuff that can be learned from that. I think the logical place to start for crosses and other little pointy bits would be wood. So I have some normal craft popsicle sticks. I've also got some thinner coffee stirrer type of sticks. I also have a variety of other kinds of bits of wood, like these kind of dowels. The reason why I'm grabbing all these different kinds of wood is because I just love having a variety. If I'm making something where I'm making a bunch of that thing, I really like to have a wide variety of that thing. And I'm just gonna kind of whittle these into crosses. So yeah. So I'm gonna fashion this into some sort of cross, but I want to whittle it a little bit. I don't know, I just want this to have a little bit of an interesting kind of shape to it. This is such a small detail that it's really not necessary. But like I said at the top, this is more just like practice of adding a lot of detail and kind of seeing where I can push things. Okay, I'm going to try to use as little super glue as possible because I'm thinking of staining these, and I think that super glue does not stain very well. These are not going to be super structurally sound, but they're just tiny little details. Now I'm just going to whip up a bunch more with all these other kinds of wood that I have. Update. I've made 3 crosses. I'm going to make more, but as I was making the 3, I was like, this isn't that interesting of a video, but I thought of something else that would be kind of cool. I'm going to grab a couple more Citadel skulls, just the human ones, and a few toothpicks. And I'm gonna put some skulls on some spikes. I think that'll be really cool. Is it a little too violent? I don't know. My mom is probably watching this. I'm not a violent person. You guys understand. I'm interested in the world building of it all. Like if I saw what I'm about to make in real life, hell no. This sprue has some really good ones. I feel like these kind of beat up ones are definitely ones that you would find on spikes. Ever since I cleaned up a few days ago, I cannot find my vice pin. And I've looked exhaustively. Clearly not everywhere since it's gotta be somewhere in here, but I'm wondering if I can just cut the toothpicks and glue them on either side of the skulls, and because it's not as structurally sound. But it's probably what I'm gonna do once I finish cleaning up these skulls. Let's glue them. I'm gonna try to keep this as straight as possible and retain like the tip for sure. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna cut this tip off. I'm gonna cut a little section off like this. And then one more tiny section. Add a drop, add a skull. I might have to bust out my arch nemesis, which is accelerant. Well, it is now glued on. It is slightly at an angle, which is not ideal. I might hold it until it's tacky and then spray some accelerant. I mean, once that's painted up, that is gonna look cool. Cool. All right, I lined it up. Not the best on that top one. Yeah, if you look too closely, the wood looks weird, but from far away, it's cool and spooky. I'm gonna whip up a few more with the rest of my skulls and then get them painted up. All right, I've made one with 3 that you already saw. This one with 2. And what I think ended up being some of my favorites are just these 2 single ones with just like 1 skull each on the tip of the spike. They're pretty cool. So these are going to be arranged somewhere in the cemetery along with the crosses. I guess I'll just stick to these 3 crosses, you know? I think that 3 is an adequate number. I don't want to overdo it with these details. I just kind of want to add some little bit of storytelling to this. The cemetery is fully painted and flocked already, but I don't know why. For some reason, I'm feeling like it will be easier to paint these little fiddly pieces right on the cemetery. So let's glue them into place. What the heck? Okay, I didn't even plan to record audio with this clip. So I'm not even using a microphone. But what is happening? I squirted down this, which I've used a lot, and you saw it. It did something weird. If anyone can explain that weird phenomenon in the comments, I would be very grateful. Like, did it react with the paint? Okay, hold on. I thought that was the only instance of that weird reaction, but I just noticed it kind of happened with the mushrooms too. I don't see it on any of the other ones, but it might be covered up with grass. Oh wait, it's on this one too. Okay, I would love for someone to explain that to me. I'll probably look it up too, but maybe someone will have a better explanation. That is freaky. The one with the cross is like wildly a lot. Now I'm gonna paint the skulls. And that is going to do it for this episode of Junktober. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And consider subscribing if you've liked this journey. Once November hits, I'm going to continue posting longer format videos every couple weeks. And also, if you want to see the full Junktober series playthrough, subscribe for that as well. Thanks for watching.